I don't know what to do, claims one writer as he talks about the dangers of borrowing money. Sadly, people are complaining that they can't borrow more money between getting downgraded or between the fact that interest is high or they're already delinquent on so many loans. Sadly, people have lost their vision of being smart and not borrowing money. Today we're going to talk about the national and also our personal debts and how we need to get back on track. Also, we're going to talk about Walmart. You know, we talked about how good they were doing. They were trying to stay with the little man, help Main Street. Then they pulled their old stunt where they said, well, you know, we need to make more money. We may have to go up on prices. Now, this is after the negotiation that Trump and China has had. You would have thought that Walmart would have said, look, let's just eat this cost because we made a ton of money. It's going to blow your mind how much money they made this first quarter. You'd have thought they'd say, okay, let's not talk about raising prices. Now, I bet money they actually don't raise prices. But to me, this was a bad move by Walmart. We'll discuss that because they started this alarm signal saying that they've got to raise prices. And then Trump got on them. So I'm anxious to see what's going to take place. We'll discuss that today. The war on good and Christianity and having children is happening. Now, we're not going to talk about the fertility clinic, but again, I think that we're in a different stage. There's an author that I like listening to. He says there's like 3 existential threats in America's history so far. First was revolutionary. Second was civil. And he said now we're battling for the heart of America now. We'll discuss what he's talking about, especially when it comes down to this, our faith. I believe now more than ever, real men and real faith and real families of faith has got to stand up and start being the thoroughbred Christian that they're supposed to be. We'll discuss that with my reaction. And then lastly, we're going to Georgia. This is something that we're seeing over and over in cities and in states. Because of crime, because of the problems with the cities, you're never going to believe what this Georgia county just decided to do. If you don't have police, you have something else that can go in the air. This almost reminds you of, I don't know if you've seen that movie Code 8, the dystopian movie where they use drones. We're getting there. Let's discuss that story and a few more. This video starts right now. Hey guys, welcome to our channel. Thank you so very much for being here. Again, we are humbled by your presence. We've had a tough few days. We've lost about 2,000 or 3,000 subscribers, and to be honest with you, we've been held back. We're not getting notified at all, so we appreciate you being here. If you could share our message, give us a thumbs up. That tells YouTube that we need to share this message. So please give us a thumbs up if you like the content. Also, remember we did a live earlier. It was not a long live, but we wanted to do a question and answer in time today, so please go back and check that. Also, my other channel, Life with Colby Mack, the vlog channel, we're putting another vlog out, so please go check it out as well. Now let's jump into the stories of the day. First, let's start off with Georgia. I want to talk about Georgia, then we're going to move into Walmart, and then of course dealing with some of the other things that we talked about in the intro. Well, this is what Georgia just came out and did, and the reason I want to bring this up is because this is not just in Georgia, this is happening all over. But listen to this. This is from Wall Street Apes. It says, more surveillance in America. Bryan County, Georgia is deploying police drones to monitor traffic and give people tickets for texting and not wearing seatbelts. Drones will be watching you at all times with cameras and that are so advanced they can zoom in and read your text messages. Listen to this now. The sheriff says the drones are only being used to catch drivers texting while driving and not wearing seatbelts. If you can pull up, zoom in so far that your phone could be seen, don't we think this could be dangerous? The technology is now raising concerns of invasion of privacy, but the sheriff says it's completely legal because we're trying to keep you safe. Now, I get on a tirade with my wife all the time. You can ask her, and again, I get it all the time from people viewers. I understand, not doing something to drive or cause problems for other people, but like the seatbelt law, it may be good for me to wear a seatbelt, but let me decide that. As a libertarian, I cannot understand how anybody thinks that a Congress or Senate or a policeman can tell you if you can wear your seatbelt or not, because it's not harming anybody but the person driving the car. Do you get what I'm saying? That's like saying I'm going in my home and you're not allowed to do anything in your home because we can see you and it's something that's bad for you. It's like me saying, okay, I'm gonna have 4 boilers going on the stove, not covered, and they're all on high. It may not be smart, but ultimately that's my decision, not the government saying, no, you gotta put tops on those boilers. Now, that's not what the story's about. But what I'm saying is, I think what we do is we start off slow. We start off with safety, security concerns. We start off with real ID. We start off with taking care of you and giving more surveillance on you because we want to just keep you safe. They now can fly drones in the sky. Now this happened in Chicago and New York already. We've talked about this. But now they're going to use drones to catch criminals. And you say criminals. Now it's amazing. We are allowing people to live here free. We're allowing the clients of Epstein not to get booked. We're allowing all this stuff to take place. We're allowing Congress to get away with breaking laws by having insider trading. But we want to get you and over-surveil the people of this county because you are choosing to text while you drive or not wear your seatbelt. So we're going to surveil you to where I have a drone in the air that can literally read your text message that's in front of you. Now, should you be texting while driving? No. I mean, that's kind of stupid. It's like saying don't put on makeup while you're driving. There's smart things to think about. Don't do some of those things. Don't be messing with the radio. All that matters. But that's not what the point of the story is. It's the fact that if we have a government that is willing to surveil us in a car and look at your text messages, I believe that's a pretty big deal. I believe that is a problem with security, not for your safety, but the fact of surveillance over you, your freedom. What else can they use these drones for? What if you're quote unquote doing something that they don't like one day and the government says, well, that's against the law. You're raising animals, you're raising food. We outlawed that 2 years ago. You see how that works? We're making a slippery slope and we're allowing these drones to fly. And here's what happens. People complain, Congress is saying, oh, it's wrong, and they do nothing about it. So guess what? These drones are going up in the county in Georgia, and you're just going to deal with it. It's already happening in Chicago, already happening in New York. It's already happening in California. So that's now the fourth state that's going to keep on happening, and you can complain all you want, but if it never gets anything done about it, surveillance is coming to you, and we're going to be in a Code 8 world where we're not going to be able to get away from anything because surveillance is going to be on top of us. If I can sit here on my phone and they can surveil my phone while I'm sitting here talking to you in the privacy of my own home, the privacy of my own backyard, in a very rural area of Mississippi, how safe is your privacy? It's not safe at all. Now let's move on to Walmart. Walmart comes out and says they hint that we may have to go up on pricing because of tariffs. Now, if the tariffs were keeping on going, and just like every other business complained about it, they stood strong. I was proud of Walmart for saying we're not going to go up on the prices. I mean, I bragged on them on this channel. Well, I'm sorry, because to be honest with you, here they are trying to double down on this, which is absolutely crazy. This is from Trump. It says, Walmart should stop trying to blame tariffs for the reason of raising prices throughout the chain. Walmart made billions of dollars last year, far more than expected. Between Walmart and China, they should, as it said, eat the tariffs and not charge value customers anything. Now, they've done that for a long time, but now since everything's kind of calmed down, those shipments are coming in, they want to try to slowly and quietly charge people the extra money. Now, I don't believe it's going to happen. I believe they're going to feel enough blowback, and I believe Walmart's going to be smart enough to say there's no point in going up on it because we've made a lot of money. Listen to this. Walmart made $169 billion with the B in profit last year, with 75% of it coming from, again, overseas in products. If that is the case, and they make only $100 billion because of the tariffs for 3 months, would that be bad? Now here's the thing. Is Walmart a bad guy? Because a lot of times people can only buy from Walmart. I don't think they're quote-unquote bad guy. I think they're a business like everybody else. And I think the sad thing is they worry about their shareholders and their stock more than they worry about the people. Now, here's the key. If they'd have done like they did the other day where they were promising America first, they were promising not to go up on prices, I think that made Walmart look great. And I think Trump bragged on them. I think everybody thought, hey, Walmart's coming around back to the old Sam Walton days. Now, do I believe they go up on this price? I don't. I believe they're just sounding an alarm to make it look like, well, look, I'm taking a huge loss by doing this. I actually think they're using this to kind of promote the fact that their prices in stock will probably go down for their shares because it makes them look bad to go up on prices. So now they're going to keep the prices low. So it's going to make them look good to Main Street America. And even if their prices dip a little bit on the stock market, it allows their board to say, well, look, we did it because we were helping out Americans. It only benefits Walmart. It's a persona thing. But I actually do not believe they're going to go over prices. I believe this is just a threat, so that way, just in case their stocks dip a little bit and their shares dip a little bit, they can say, well, look, we were just trying to help the American people. I think that's actually what it's going to be. Have you ever Googled yourself and literally your family members and information of yours came up, the question always comes to mind is how much of my public information is actually on the World Wide Web, on the internet where people could just access it. Not only that, think about all the spam calls you get, all the spam emails you get. I get several a day and have to block and block and block. That's where my friends at Aura, the sponsor of today's video, can help. Aura will help remove your personal information from data brokers and people searching sites to sell your information from and to identity thieves and scammers and more. Aura monitors your personal data, including your social security number, your house number, your phone number. And not only do they check it and monitor it, they will alert you if all of a sudden they find that your information has been compromised. Also, Aura VPN. VPN protects you on the internet, and this was with military-grade protection when it comes to Aura's VPN. It blocks all scam and phishing sites from getting your information in your accounts. What about an antivirus? What about a password manager? 24/7 US-based support. I get all this in one app called Aura. I do not want to leave myself vulnerable. We talk about it all the time. We live in a digitized world. The last thing I want to do is protect my home and not protect myself online. Check out aura.com/themacs today. You will not be sorry that you did. My information is mine. My social is my social. My address is mine. The last thing I want is someone else to have it. You can go to my link below, aura.com/themacs, and get 2 weeks free. That will be enough for you to see how Aura is an asset to you, because you're going to realize how much you're exposed online. Stop leaving yourself vulnerable. Check out Aura today. Link is in the description. Thank you so much, Aura, for sponsoring today's video. I do think it's a little strange how they came out 3 weeks ago saying that they're going to allow China to take the loss. They're going to allow themselves to take the loss so Americans don't. It made them look good. Trump bragged on them, and now they're kind of changing that. Now Trump's kind of at them. I just wish they would quit playing games and just simply be good for the American people. I think all businesses will kowtow to whatever the narrative is. I think that's what's wrong with America, though. I think that's like politicians. Wherever the wind flows is whatever we're going to push for the time. I'm tired of that. I'm ready to find businesses and people who are willing to stand up for the right, morally obligated, and values and the centered they believed in, what they want, no matter if it's plus or against them. One thing I got to give Trump, and you can say all you want about him, you may not like him, but he literally is saying what he's going to do, and he's going to do it. And he doesn't care if you like it or not. The tariffs made him look weak for a long time. The market dipped, and all of a sudden now it's coming back. It showed that he never wavered. He kept the same view that he had 20, 30, 40 years ago. That, I think, is the right way. We don't sway like politicians. We stand firm. And that brings me to the next story. Eric Metaxas had this quote, and I thought this was good. Eric Metaxas is kind of a Christian author and speaker. He said, I've said this many times, we're in the third existential crisis of history. We had the Revolutionary War, the Civil War, and now we have now. Everything is on the line as we fight against the deep, you know what, and the Dems who nearly destroyed our nation. Now it's time to expose them, but now it's time for us to be men. It's time for us to stand up for our beliefs. I think the biggest threat to America is weak men and weak families and weak politicians that flow, like we were just talking about with Walmart. That whatever, if it looks popular now, then we're going to go that way. If it looks popular this way, we're going to go this way. To me, I call that sleazy, weak politicians typically do that. They're all for this, all for this, all for this, and then all of a sudden it's like it kind of loses its luster. Then they go for all for this. They'll switch their sides and switch teams tons, and they just go with the flow. That's not what real leadership looks like. That's not proven leadership. And I think what Eric Metaxas is saying here is, look, we're in a threat for America. It's no time to put our head in the sand. It's no time to say, well, look, everything's better now, so we can just go back to status quo. For instance, I'm going to be honest with you. I think this big, beautiful bill that Trump and the Congress is talking about, I don't know if Trump is trying to act like it's good and then it's really bad because there's not enough cuts, or he believes in it. But I honestly believe this bill sucks. I honestly believe this bill is the worst horrific bill coming from Congress, and every one of them should be voted out, and we should lose the election in the midterms if this is what their bill is. Why do I say that? Because it's not enough cutting. We still spend money, and they're not doing anything but fatten their pockets. Why do I say that? Because honestly, if you really wanted to change the narrative, you'd do a few things first. You would balance a budget. You would quit doing new items. New items. Do you realize the Republicans are spending and creating new items for the budget? There should be no new items. We are too fluffed up. I thought David Friedman said this good though, that he said if we just go back to pre-pandemic, pre-2020, so like 2019 budgeting, go back to that kind of money in 2019, he said if we just did that, we wouldn't be in the deficit that we're in now. So what I think we should have is proven leaders. And we don't have that in leadership when it comes to the Republicans in Congress. We don't even have that leadership in the Senate. We don't have that in leadership with the Supreme Court and with the judiciary. So what does it come down to? It comes down to men, families, and starting to build the communities back up. When we talk about prepping and sustainability, we talk about being leaders in your family, in your homes, in your communities. When you start doing that, I think like Eric McCaskill was saying, look, the Revolutionary War, the Civil War, all those were led not by some great politician. When George Washington did it and when the Civil War came on, most of the time it was just proven men who believed in goodness, who believed in their values, who believed in morals, who wanted something different for their family. Well, we need that time again. And we're in that time where weak men will keep on creating hard times. Or we can be strong men, go through these tough times, call the spade a spade, meaning we're in bad delinquent times, we're in bad spending habits, we are upside down in not only personal but also in our government. When we start saying those kind of things, kind of like what Trump's doing with the tariffs, but even more than that, like what Doge is doing, codify these Doge cuts, actually make a difference. You know, people like Josh Hawley and all them, they sound good, but to be honest with you, most of them will not cut entitlement spending. Well, if you don't cut entitlement spending, we will have no money. We have no money. And if you keep spending money like we do, our interest rates are going to go up and our debt's going to go up. And then the debt service on our debt will be too much for us. What we don't realize is we're still spiraling down the toilet drain. And I think what Eric Metaxas is saying, if you really want to see a change, it starts with biblical manhood, Christianity. It starts with men being men, understanding the hard times, and still not swaying. You put your nose to it and you go to it. It's kind of like a ship. A ship is controlled by one little rudder, but that one little rudder is only going to give us its power. It's where it's actually pointed that's going to make the difference. The rudder's paddling, but no matter if it's in the Bering Sea or if it's on the wide open ocean or if it's in the worst of seas, it's where the nose is pointing. And that one little rudder can control the whole ship because where it's pointing. When you think you're not making a difference, like even me, sometimes I just get this thing, I'm like, man, they cut my views, I'm not getting views. And I'm like, you know what, but God is using me to speak to a certain amount of people. And if my little rudder can steer the whole ship to make sure that we're pointing in the right direction, then we're making an impact even in our families and our communities. What I believe we need more now for this existential threat in America is when times look good, sometimes it's not. Sometimes it is. But we never wane. We stay straight on the path of being better. For instance, there's 2 studies that just came out dealing with Americans. It says, I don't know what to do. Borrowers report credit score carnage. They can't get student loans. They can't pay their student loans. They can't borrow money anymore. They're stressed. And this article is actually pushing like, oh my gosh, what are they to do? I mean, everybody's got to borrow money. No, you don't. You can change. You don't have to borrow every dollar. You don't have to keep up with the Joneses. You don't have to live in the biggest house or have the nicest vehicle out in the driveway. If you can save up and you can buy those things, great. What a blessing. But you don't have to have all that and go in debts to have it. Student loan debt, again, are you having to go to that school? Are you really needing to go there? We need to quit worrying about what everybody else thinks about us and start worrying about what, first of all, spiritually, God thinks about us and what we're doing for Him, but also, really is it impacting you in a positive or negative way? Borrowing money to prove to somebody that you could borrow money to have this nice vehicle, nice home, but then to be absolutely broke and can't borrow any money anymore when it really comes need, then we've not done anything but cause ourselves more strife. Last week, a new report came out that the Federal Reserve said that people cannot borrow money. Credit scores are dying because delinquency is up and people can't feel like they can borrow more money. Their credit card debts are too high and they need help. Sadly, more people are wanting to borrow more money instead of actually getting on a budget. So that's what happens with Congress too. Congress is seeing all the money that Trump is bringing in, and instead of cutting the budget, They're wanting to spend the extra money that they're actually getting in surplus from all these nations. The best thing to do is to cut the budget, let that go towards debt, and actually start building a better America like we should have already had. We should have never put ourselves in this kind of situation. I want you to listen to this. This is from the Kobayashi letter. It says, the U.S. auto loan serious delinquencies are on the rise to an alarming pace. The share of auto loan balances in the last 90 days has hit 5% in Q1, the most since 2020's peak. This also is slightly above the 2008 peak when the market completely fell out. The delinquency is getting worse and worse and worse. You know why? It's because when their automobiles are $90,000 to buy brand new, $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, $80,000, $90,000 brand new, and you're stupid enough to go buy it because you can afford the monthly note, then those auto loans are going to keep on going up. The price of automotive cars are going to keep on going up because if you're willing to buy it, they're going to keep on selling them to you. So if we would learn to say, you know, we're not going to buy that. We can't afford that. We're going to make do. We're going to buy this clunker and make do. We're going to fix our other car back up. We're going to get a smaller, lower note car. Even though it's not shiny and pretty, it's used, it'll get me where we need to go. If we would actually start cutting our own way of life, I think a lot of this would heal itself. But no, we can't because we keep spending and spending and spending. If Congress quit listening to lobbyists and listening to their own pockets and actually started doing stuff for the American people, it'd start fixing itself. It's the same situation. Let's go back to what Eric Metaxas said. We're in the third existential threat. And it's because men need to be men again. We need good, Christian, wholesome, biblical men again. We need families that are leading the charge. The reason the Revolution and Civil War were big parts of our nation's history is because truthfully, men had to stand up. They had to sacrifice. Are we willing to do that now? My hope and goal for my channel, for my home, for my life, my livelihood, is to say, how big is my ship and how much can it hold? It's actually the little rudder that's pushing and keeping my nose in the direction I'm supposed to go. No matter what goes on in life, I want to have a trajectory of pointing in the right direction. And I think if we do that, if we all personally do that, I think our nation will get better because we're going to vote for people that actually matter. And we're actually going to see real change. I want you to, no matter how big your boat is, no matter where your rudder's kicking you, no matter how small it is, if you point your nose in the right direction, you will be heading right. And it will all be okay. Focus on the good, prepare for the bad, and ultimately love your family through it all. Guys, let me know your thoughts on today's video. God bless.